Welcome to my channel. My name is Shoshana, and I feel like I'm back for the time being. I know that something's coming. I know that within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be going through something very detrimental. I've already gotten clear signs and messages that I am going to be going through another purging. I can feel the places within me that are going to be purging already, dreading, and I know it's coming. So, but in the meantime, I do feel like I have a surge of energy, and I feel like I am I'm present again. I'm here again, and it's kind of coming into sums what I've been going through in the last couple of weeks, and no, it's never what you think. It's never what you think. You think that you're going to come to all sorts of epiphanies about yourself and about working through your own dramas and traumas. And what has been coming through for me today and yesterday, kind of all in like this foggy, and it's coming through in pieces, and I know I don't have all the pieces for the puzzle yet, and I know that more is going to be coming through, but I do have like this big epiphany, and I feel like I want to be able to bring it as it comes, because that is the way that it comes through, the most pure, in the purest form, the most authentic. And a lot of times for me, and I imagine for a lot of you, when we speak something out and we're able to take it from the ethers or from thoughts or like this big cloud and bring it into a very concise form of words, right? Because when we bring it into words, it's like we're manifesting it. It's like we have to be able to bring it into a fine-tuned enough for us to be able to pass the message in words. That means that we have to bring clarity of thought from something this big down into something precise that is just one stream of words that is going to bring the idea forth. So before I opened up this video, I already asked to allow for this to flow through. So the first thing that was coming through this morning, I kind of jotted down the things as they were coming through. So it's just, that's what it looks like when I am, it started here and it went here, and then it went on to here and kind of keeps on going backwards. So I have like all of these notes that have been coming through this morning. And I kind of want to explain how it all connects back to heaven being a place on earth. Oh, look. How funny. Just a little. It all connects back to heaven on earth, how to obtain, or to enter into heaven. And I know the Bible has kind of like contorted this idea for us, that it's all connected into religion and kind of been tainted. But heaven on earth, if I could explain it, the best way that I can explain it is, and I'm sure that each and every one of us has tasted it, is that moment when you are in complete alignment, in a moment that you are completely present in the now, and all of the wonders of the universe are open. You become pure consciousness in this physical realm. And when you come into that state, everything is just beautiful. You're in this aligned, enlightened state of being, and we get glimpses of it. And I'm going to explain. It's all in what has been coming through this morning. So one exists in another's absence. So this was coming through this morning in like how light exists or darkness exists in the absence of light, and they kind of have to coexist in between them. And I'll take this even further, and I'll say that matter and space are relevant to each other. One has no meaning and no purpose without the other and cannot be measured. So it does not really exist with, or is not relevant without the existence of the other. So matter has to have space in order for it to become form, and space has to have matter in order for it to have any kind, in order for it also to come into form, in order for it to be measurable in any way, or to have any kind of purpose or meaning. It has to be relevant to matter. So matter and space are completely dependent on one another, and they have to exist in coexistence. So they are relevant to one another. One has no meaning without the other. And only when they come into a one point where they exist together can each one exist individually. It's kind of like male and female. You have no life without male and female. They are both of the same importance. When you have when a caterpillar turns into a cocoon, and it makes a cocoon around itself, right? And so what is more important? The cells that create the cocoon or the cells that create the butterfly? They are codependent. So one cannot exist without the other. So they are all of equal importance. And it's just like without the contrast of light, of dark, you cannot have light, and vice versa, right? One cannot exist without the other, because what is light without the contrast of dark? It's nothing. It's an inconceivable. So space and matter are relevant to one another, and they coexist. Now, let's take this even further. So that was the first thing that I received, which was space and matter are excellent example of this. One is completely relevant to the other and can only be measured or determined because of the contrast of the other. They are completely dependent on one another, yet cancel each other out. And then there was something else that I wrote here about how, in fact, because they are so dependent on one another and one cannot exist without the other, they are two parts of the same. So they are one, in fact. And in order for them to there's like, but they are also opposites, right? One could be perceived as female, which would be space, which is the allowing, which is the container, which is just like the female body is the container, and the nurturer, the one that allows, the one that holds the space. And it also, you can also say with masculine that masculine hold the space for the female to be able to process all of the emotions, but it's in a different way. So I'm just so that I can put it into words so that it can be comprehensible, because everything is interchangeable, and everything is you can break down anything all the way down till it's not in existence anymore. But along the way, there are so many truths and so many things that can help us understand more about ourselves and who we are and what this plane is and the world that is around us, and to get kind of relevance of ourselves in this space-time, energy, matter, existence. And I'm going to get into the energy and time in a second too, because they are exactly the same as space and matter. So of the same kind of relationship. So time and energy are also the same. So time would be the feminine, would be the container of energy. Energy can only flow where there is time that allows it to create that flow. So time and energy are also a codependence. They are complete codependence, just like space and matter are codependent. So they're two sides of the one, So is time and energy. So time allows energy to flow. Without time, energy could not flow. It could not receive life. And without energy, time would have no relevance. It would not be measurable. So we have the four, they always say on earth there's the four dimensions. Each one of these is a different dimension, and this plane is the plane where all four of these dimensions meet at one place. And we are in this body, in this avatar, with our energy, with our life light, with everything that we are, measurable, understandable, conceivable dimensions that are in plain sight for us, so they're studyable, right? And I'm not talking about all the other dimensions that we connect to, that we can see. Where did all this information come from? I'm perceiving it and putting it into words, but where did it come from? Right? It's coming from the divine intelligence of all that is. My avatar somehow conceived it, and I perceived it, and put it into words so that I can communicate it to more people, so that perhaps, all the information is there. This isn't my information. It is my interpretation of the information that somehow I conceived and then perceived and then was able to bring forth in a way of these times that we're living in, that I could just make a video and put something out there like this. It's something that when it comes to you, it's like the understanding. It's so massive, and I write it down, right? I think I'm also going to put this into a text and actually write it into an article, because it's already written. It's just putting it into the computer now. But the fact that I can conceive and perceive something like this and then put it into words, which is actually communication, is telepathy. I'm bringing this message, putting it into words that others can perceive, and sending it out to the world. So I really hope that this reaches far and wide, and to whoever needs to hear this message, because it's so important. It gives us such perspective on our own lives, because we're running after things that we are magnificent. We are by chance, not even by chance, by miracle. By miracle do we even have this life, that we're able to be in this existence, in this one point in space, time, matter, energy, one point. Like if you see on a mathematical, sometimes you see on the mathematical those waves, right? So we are in one meeting point of four different dimensions that all meet together and combine. It's mind bending. Try to think about it. It bends your mind to even think about how they all communicate, and they are all intertwined and codependent. So we have. So here's where it gets kind of funky, right? Where is it? Okay, space and okay. So space and time, or time and space, are equivalent. Time is what allows energy. Right? So energy and time are relevant, but time and space, or space and time, are equivalent. Space and time are both going to be the minus, are both going to be the containers, the allowers, the feminine energy. And then energy and matter are going to be the masculine. And so energy and matter are equivalent as well. They are what plays out in the plane of either space or time, right? So matter is what plays out in space. They give each other life, matter and space, just like energy and time give each other life. So they are partners. They are both dependent on one another for existence, but equivalent would be matter and space. Time and space are equivalent. So it would be like twin flames are dependent on their existence depends on one another, whereas soulmates are of the same essence. So it's a different way of also looking at the soulmates and twin flame kind of dynamic. And when you understand that this plane is in a perfect balance of those 4 dimensions meeting in one point, and that we, as human beings in this avatar, we belong to this plane. We are of this plane. We are in ourselves made up of energy, matter, space, and time. And so we are in this playing field. All of everything has come together into one so that this existence can happen. So in saying that, that means that when we find our perfect balance within, and it's so difficult to find that perfect balance because it is a balance of all of the elements at once. There's so many moving parts, and then there's all the dimensions that we also don't see. So then there's all the dimensions that we're made up of, that we feel, all of the senses that are beyond the common senses that are also there. And we have to, it's like a droplet of water that's dropped. And at first it's like it's moving all over the place until it finds that perfect balance. And so when we get into that perfect balance and sync with everything outside of us and everything inside, when we become perfectly balanced, that is when we get those glimpses of heaven on earth. When we let go of trying to grasp and hold on to something, because everything is in constant movement. If you're trying to hold on to something, trying to keep something in place, not only are you holding yourself back from continuing, you are also attaching yourself to something else that wants to continue to move. So when you can find that perfect middle space, that perfect space of holding and letting go at the same time, the perfect balance, that is when you enter into heaven on earth. And the best place to do this is not externally, it is internally, because we are made up of everything that is in this existence. We are a portion of it. We are one little aspect of it. We are of it. Everything that is within us was also at some point without. It was also outside of us. It was other things within this existence. Everything that you see, including the space that you see, you are also made up of space in you. When you take it away and you look really, really close, we are, matter and energy are the same thing. Matter and energy are the same thing. Space and time are the same thing. So it's just like we know that matter is an illusion. It's all energy. It's all things that are moving. It's all movement. Movement that is moving so fast that it looks like it is form. And space and time are also the same thing. They're the same thing. Energy and matter are equivalent. Space and time are equivalent. Okay, wait. No. I said that wrong. Energy and time are the same thing. But space and time are equivalent. And space and matter are the same thing. They're two sides of the same thing. They're two parts of the same thing. So when you can take those two parts of the same thing and bring them into balance, because think about it, space and matter are when you look at them, they are opposite, right? But they are so dependent. So if they are absolutely dependent in their existence for one another. So let's say this table that I'm sitting at cannot exist without space. It has to exist within space, but it takes up space. So in its existence within the space, there is absence of the space, but the space will not have relevance without physical matter within it. So it would not be conceivable, perceivable. It would not have any meaning to it. It would not be relevant. And so the two of those are like two sides, and neither would the matter. So the two of those are like two sides of the exact same thing. They interlock, and they have to come into perfect balance in perfect balance and harmony with one another, constantly changing form. And so one thing can move from one place to another, and the space, the vacuum of space, will move from one place to another. Everything that is in existence always was and always will be, right? So it's when you move the table from this place to another place in the living room, right? It just makes sense, right? You think, okay, I'm moving the table. But in fact, you're creating a vacuum. That matter has to move within the space, so it's taking up a completely different space, and the space that was in that place of the matter before is like a vacuum moving back into the area where the table once held space. And so those two have to constantly work together and move together. This could be like twin flames. They're two sides of the same thing. They're complete opposites, but completely codependent on one another. One cannot exist without the other. They completely are complementary of one another. Whereas space and let's do the other one, like time, the time and energy are the same, but let's say space and matter, I'm disconnected, just a minute. It's very complex. Space and matter are like the twin flames, but space and time are both of equal, they're both of the same female energy. They're both containers of the masculines. They are equivalent. Space and time are equivalent. Both of them allow for something to play out on their plane, right? So space allows matter to play out, and it contains the matter, and time allows energy to play out, and it contains the energy. So when you realize that you are a part of something that is so intricate and so magnificent, and one chance in infinity of chances for these four divine, dependent, they're only dependent in order for this existence to exist, right? Because space can exist on its own. It's just infinite. It's just forever space. In order for space to exist, it doesn't have to have matter, but it doesn't have meaning. And so in this plane, space received its divine counterpart of matter. It's just like female received male. So it starts way beyond the human species. This is something that is from the cosmos. This is something that is so mystical to understand that. So we think of male, female. It's very, very superficial thoughts, because when you see that how vast that the idea really is, space, it's infinite. Space is infinite. And it is only relevant with matter. It is only relevant for this existence, right? Because without somebody to perceive it or to conceive it, it doesn't have purpose either. It's just like the tree that falls in the forest. Did it make a sound if there was nobody there to hear it? Like, did it really matter? Was there any purpose in it? So everything is relevant. I guess this is all coming back to everything is relevant. So this is just such a grand idea and such a grand understanding. It's just like one of those things that just it's mind blowing. It's almost inconceivable. Um, so I think I'm going to go ahead and write it out because I think I can do far more justice in written because there was so much more here and it's also far more concise. But I do feel like I really wanted to just put that out there because it really does hold the keys to finding heaven on earth. And another part of this, it's important, is that heaven on earth, like heaven, is only in this field. It's not once you die, you go to heaven. Once you die, you are less. This is the playing field. You are lesser. Because we are multidimensional beings, all of our dimensions are within us, including this physical plane. This is the plane where we get to collect ideas. We get to collect thoughts within this human avatar. This is the plane. This is it. We are in heaven right now. It's just a matter of finding that perfect balance, balancing all of the elements that are within us, all of our emotions and our thoughts and our matter and our energy and purifying ourselves so that we will come into alignment. So it's like I said, like that drop of water. It's moving around. Our emotions are going this way and that way. And slowly, as we're going through this process, we're quieting the mind. We're quieting the emotions. We're coming more into that place of pure balance. And when you get into that place of pure balance, it's just like the Merkava. Again, I'll show you the Merkava. The Merkava. It's just like the Merkava. The Merkava, the idea of it is that God is in the center, which is in the complete God, our God essence. When we find that balance, that perfect balance that is not holding on to anything, that is just in pure allowing all of the dimensions to flow through us without trying to grab onto anything. Especially the physical world is elusive because the physical world, we see things and we think that they are absolute because we can see them, we can hold them. But it's all elusive. That is the anchors that hold you down into the lower vibrations, because things that are of matter are vibrating at a very low vibration. They are the lowest vibration. They're vibrating at such a vibration that you can already see its vibration. Whereas, music is of high vibration. You can hear it. It's still conceivable. But it's of a higher vibration. You know it's there because you can perceive it, but you can't touch it. You can't touch it. That's such a perfect example to say, that there are things here there are things here that are beyond your capability with your physical senses to conceive or to perceive. And it's just like music, or it's just like I heard Wayne Dyer tell a story once. I love Wayne Dyer. He passed, but he was one of my first spiritual teachers because he speaks at such a logical level. And he said once that he had a friend who was a brain surgeon, and he worked on brains. And he said, you know that your thoughts are there, but when you cut open a brain, where are the thoughts? You can't see them in there, but you know that they exist. And it's just like music. You can't see the music but you know it exists. You can hear the vibration of my voice. It is in existence. It is probably one of it is like a manifestation. It is the manifestation of my thoughts. The first form of manifestation of my thoughts are words that I say. That's why words are magic. They are like the bridge between the ethers and the physical plane. They are at the portal point. They are the point of passage. So I'm just going to leave this here. I think that I brought this home. Whoever can perceive it has gotten it. So I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for being here. I'm happy to do this. If anybody wants to meet with me one-on-one, my contact information is in my website. And I also want to thank all of you who have. So sending you guys so much love. Thank you.